Hello. I don't know why I did this hand. Hello. So for this video log, I was thinking about doing something a little different, which is the painstakingly long process of making art. And for this video, I am showing you the process of how I crochet. So, I'm starting things off with a little bit of measuring. Here I'm measuring my body and stuff. And I would also like to mention this video is in no way, shape, or form a tutorial. This is just a process of me making this. I actually haven't explained to you what I'm making, huh? So maybe we should start with the beginning. Like the beginning. Well, to be quite honest, it came from a vision. I'm not joking, it came from a vision. I think I was just chilling one day and then suddenly an image came into my head. An image of a tank top, but the back is see-through. And the see-through back is made out of mesh, so it's like you can kind of have a peek at your back. I don't know how this vision came to me, but this vision also came with a set of gloves, matching gloves. And when this vision came, I could not think of any other color other than green. And then I remember just telling my friends about it, and they were like, you should make it. So I bought yarn and I made it. I will warn you a little bit though. This whole video is just gonna be me crocheting for hours on end, so be prepared. So when it comes to crocheting, I just started off how anybody would start it off. And the thing about this project is that I'm not following any tutorials. I'm just following like my past experiences in making crochet projects. So this, not only did it came in a random vision, but I'm also making it super randomly. And a lot of mistakes happened and it made me really stressed, but yeah, I started off with the front panel. If you know me, it's probably no surprise to you that I am a person that enjoys silence. I really don't mind it. I actually prefer it sometimes. Not all the time, sometimes. But I enjoy just sitting in silence. However, there's an exception when it comes to crocheting for some reason. When I'm crocheting, if I'm not distracted with anything else, my mind will just think too much and will just go too far into the deep end to the point where I actually have to stop crocheting so that I can just finish a single thought. So yeah, I cannot enjoy silence when I'm crocheting, which is why I always like to entertain myself with a bunch of things. Like maybe, hanging out with my friends online, or listening to music, or watching movies, watching Netflix, YouTube videos. But my current obsession right now is actually listening to a podcast that I'm starring in. That's right, we interrupt this video for an advertisement. So I am starring in a new podcast with some of my new friends from campus. It's called the Normally Insane Podcast. It's out on YouTube, the first episode. It's also out on Spotify. If you want, you can check out the Instagram page. It's at normally a bunch of underscores insane. Or you can also just go to bit.ly/normally ___ insane. In this podcast, we talk about so many things. The first episode, we actually talk about Valentine's Day, and we talk about some of my romantic endeavors and some of my friends' romantic lives too. So it's very interesting and I'm having fun doing it, and I urge all of you to. So check it out. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. So what you're witnessing right now is me failing because something was wrong about it. I still can't really quite pinpoint what was actually wrong with it, but the main part was the fact that the edges were crooked and the stitches weren't right, and I kept failing over and over again. This happened like 4 times and I had to restart every time. That's one of the things that I dislike about crocheting, which is that if you make a mistake, you actually have to start over. And this stressed me out so much, but I still went through it. But even then, even in the final product, there's still a mistake, but whatever, I gave up on it. Crocheting can be a very calming thing to do, but it can also be single-handedly the most stressful thing ever if you fuck up. So whilst crocheting, other than listening to the podcast, the Normally Insane podcast, I like to watch videos that make me feel calm. And this is weird, but I like to watch Minecraft videos. They're very nostalgic for me and makes me feel really calm, because crocheting is so tiring. Because as you can see here, it might not look like it, but there's a mistake. And oh, here are my friends. Sorry, can we skip? Okay. As you can see here, the edges are crooked. They're rising, as you can see, from point A to point B. They should not do that. They should not. I have no idea why. This actually always happens to every single one of my crochet projects. And then here's another problem. The yarn is getting tangled, and I had to spend like a whole hour detangling everything so I can just continue everything. And then I have to restart everything, and even when I did restart, it's still crooked, and I don't know why. I actually even tried a new method of doing the edges, but it's still crooked, to the point where I actually gave up on the crookedness and actually just embraced it. So yeah, so the final product is actually crooked, but you'll never really notice it unless I tell you. If you ever want to catch a glimpse of my daily life, to be honest, this is basically it. Ever since I started this project, it has taken most of every day for me, to the point where every day just consists of me going to meetings, eating, and staying on the internet and crocheting. And to be completely honest with you, I don't mind, because during the remainder of this project, I have to stay home because COVID cases were surging up like crazy. However, a question kept nagging at me while I was working on this project, and my friends kept asking,
Why did you start?
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 That is a very good question. Why did I start crocheting? And to answer that question, we have to look at this man. So let me explain. Once upon a time, I was watching this movie called The Fifth Element. It was a movie written and directed by Luc Besson, which is this man. And this movie had a lot of 60s space aesthetics, which I love and adore. But one of the key details of this movie is the fact that the costume designer is Jean-Paul Gaultier, which is a famed designer, which is this guy. So, the main character is played by Bruce Willis. He plays a man called Corbin Dallas, and if you look at his outfit here, it looks fine, but then you look at the back, and it's see-through, kind of. It's like strapless, it's exposed back. I saw this, and I was like, well, I need that, but I can't really just buy it at the store, can I? So, if I can't really buy it, then the only thing I could do is make it. But I can't make it with a sewing machine, so I started to find other methods, and that's how I found crocheting. And that's the real answer. However, if you wanted a more philosophical answer or something, I also have one. Basically, recently I've realized that most of my life I've been relying so much on technology. Every day I use my phone, my computer. I go to university that's based off of technology, to the point where I'm just fed up with it and so bored that I would ask myself, what would happen if all of these gadgets disappear? And what would happen if just the internet disappeared? And I wouldn't know what to do. And the only thing I could think about doing is my hobbies, which is drawing and painting and sewing and stuff like that. But those aren't really activities that you can do in bed, and I love my bed too much. And one of the things that I love about the internet and my phone is I can just do it in bed. But I can't really sew in bed, so crocheting. Coincidentally, actually, in the process of making this project, there was a day where the Wi-Fi randomly went down for the whole day, for like 10 hours. Didn't know why, but it just happened, and coincidentally, the only thing I could do was crochet. That was basically all I could do because the Wi-Fi was down. Anyway, the front panel is done, so here I am measuring it on my body. And I found out that it's basically done, so I can just move on to the straps. So right now I'm making the straps. At this point, I have finished the entire front panel, so I can just move on to the back panel. And for the back, as I said in the beginning, I wanted it to be see-through and kind of like a mesh. So here I am trying to figure out how the mesh would look like. I don't know how, but I did the mesh really quickly. But because of the crookedness of the entire thing, I kind of fucked up, but I carried on and I went through with it. I don't know. It was basically done, mostly. I still had to do the white ribbing, so I had to do that first. And after that, I took on the gloves. I did the gloves. I started making the gloves. Here it is.
Video over.